All right, we're gonna try something new. Let's do current events.
Current events.
Right.
All right.
So I was just inside, and you got those two homeless chicks staying with you, right? I was waiting till you took a drink before I fucking made the joke. No, for this is what this is why we want to do current events today. I was hoping you would spray that shit through your fucking big Jew nose. You fuck. What made us want to do? I got you so good, dude. That's no better way to start. What made us want to do current events? So your sis and her friend are staying with you because of the fires in LA, because of the amazingly fucked up, intense, destructive wildfires. So we figured, hey, let's try and do some current events. Like no research, no nothing. We don't know. We only know what we've seen in just social media and news and whatever. So yeah, you wanted to do it, so I'll let you start. You want to do wildfires, so I'll let you start this one out.
Shit. Okay. I don't know where to start with it. We can go through all the different messed up scenarios of this. Everything from poor preparation on land management.
Yep.
We'll start. I mean, there's that.
Yeah. I mean, you already know where I'm going to go. So you just start, like you said, lay out a couple in your head, lay out a couple outlines, and then expand on it.
How about just that one? Start with that one. That one upsets me, I think, maybe the most.
Poor preparation.
And we're not. Yeah, we could call it preparation. Just absolute poor land management.
Yeah.
Like it's not. We know we have forest fires every single year in California. We have forest fires.
Yeah.
So from my understanding right now, it is no under clearing of the brush.
None.
I'm not sure what LA does. I know here in San Diego, if you're on a canyon, you have to cut back 150 feet
to your property line, right?
So into the canyon. So what's not your property, you actually have to do quote-unquote city work. You have to get out there with city work, pay your own people.
Yeah.
I know because we get hired for it sometimes.
Oh.
Yeah, we get hired by homeowners. We have to clear
out in East County.
Yeah, well, anywhere you live on a canyon.
Wow.
So that way when the fire's coming up the canyon, they have a fighting chance to fight it off. So they actually don't want you to clear. Nice. They actually don't want you to clear all of it. There's I forget what it is, but like the bigger major bushes, native bushes, I think one's like a lemonade berry. You actually,
I love lemonade berry.
They want you to thin it up.
Yeah.
So it's more like a tree rather than a brushy bush.
Yeah.
You clean out from underneath it and you leave them spaced about 15 to 20 yards from each other. So that holds up the hill so that you don't get major erosion. But it stops the fire, the intense fire. It gives a giant fire break before it gets to your backyard.
Yeah, it cuts back the fuel. So wait a second. Okay, this is perfect. So, but you're responsible for this.
The homeowner
is responsible for this
in the city of San Diego.
I think that might be more than just San Diego. I think that might be over a large portion of California.
Well, my guess is that each city gets to dictate what they want to do.
Because, let's say when we go camping, right? And I know we driving through mountain towns and stuff, and I recall distinctly seeing signs that say something along the lines of you must maintain a 100-foot fire break from your boundary line. And we're way outside of San Diego at this point, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So all this money that goes into California, our GDP is bigger than most countries, and none of that funding goes to fire preparation, to cleaning up any of this, to any of it.
And that, I'm sorry, that is 100% on politicians.
Of course it is.
And you can't say, forest fires just started because of climate change. That's absolute horseshit.
Yeah.
This has been happening since people settled here in the early 1900s.
Yeah. Let's just be clear. Fuck Gavin Newsom.
Okay.
Everyone hates that guy.
He's definitely...
They hate him too. Everyone hates that guy. He's a piece of shit. He just does not care. He's done the worst job.
Just such a politician. He
is the scum of the earth. That guy, I can't believe he's still lingering around, just slithering his slimy snake bullshit through this state.
No, that just goes to what, people are just paying, something we've said before. People are paying attention to their lives. It's hard enough to get by every day in and day out. Half the time they just vote for the guy that's there. They don't notice, they don't pay attention until it affects them.
Yeah,
Then when it affects you,
it's damn sure affected people now.
Yeah.
All right,
well, it's
so
gonna be, it's gonna be
as
crazy.
usual, we're getting off topic because I hate politicians. But the not being prepared. So I saw another thing. There's a massive reservoir dead smack in the Palisades.
Yep.
That was fucking empty.
Yes. Now here's what you have to. Okay, so 2 parts to this. Part 1 is it was empty. It was supposed to be empty.
Why?
They're doing maintenance on it. They're doing maintenance on the pumps.
Okay.
They're doing maintenance on all the pumps and doing all the maintenance, this, that, and everything else.
Why schedule that during peak fire season?
It's not, though. It's really not peak fire
We're in
season.
what are you talking about? For
The
California?
Winter, no, the winter usually isn't because we get usually a lot of really good rains. In this, the peak fire
I guess
season.
we're in January. Peak fire season's like October.
September, October.
Yeah.
Is peak fire season.
So I guess we are out of peak fire season. You're right.
So look, let's give them credit where credit is due. They took it offline at the right time in the middle of winter when we're supposed to be having rainstorms.
No,
all
fuck
the
them.
time.
I give them no credit. No.
Okay, fine.
No.
Whatever.
F.
Whatever.
F minus.
The politicians didn't do this. It's the bureaucrats that are head of water and power.
What's the difference?
They turned it off.
They're all branches from the same tree. The bureaucrats are under the politicians, and then how about the? Okay, sorry, keep going.
Well, because here's the thing. Look, they had to do maintenance on this stuff. It's probably been a few years. They've probably been going, back and forth. They're trying to get it done. Look, they're getting it done. You can't fault them for that. Now, what you would have hoped for is that they would have had a contingency plan, and that I can guarantee you they didn't. That they didn't just think to themselves or say, hey, wait a minute. Okay, when we have to take this offline for 1 month, which we'll turn into 2 or 3 because we know that's how government works. What happens if? And that's the sad part about bureaucrats, politicians, anybody who's not in business for themselves generally, because there's nothing really you got to worry about. In business, we would have thought about this. We would have said to ourselves, okay, I'm taking 1 truck off my fleet or 2 trucks off my 10-truck fleet. Where's my backup rental? I need a rental. Go get me a rental, whether we need it or not. Get the rental and make sure we have it for our fleet, right? Any businessman would have done that.
Yeah.
Bureaucrats and politicians they don't think that way because they're not in business, and so they generally don't know what sometimes that means to not have whatever they need to have.
So how about this? Let's go to the next one. So the fire. I don't know what the fire agency is called in Los Angeles. Essentially, the Los Angeles Fire Department, but there's a larger organization that covers kind of the greater Los Angeles County or basin area that is the fire.
Well, there's Cal
agency. Cal Fire's Cal Fire, California.
Right.
But essentially, so Los Angeles Fire. So then they've been going through the whole right. So let's say they're all in the DEI bullshit now. And they cut, first of all, they cut a bunch of funding. They cut a massive amount of funding to the fire departments up there in Los Angeles. This is stuff I have seen and looked up. They cut huge amounts of funding recently.
$27 million.
Yeah, and then they went and did these stupid DEI hires not based on people's merit, just based on we got to fill these quotas. And I think they're like the 3 main people in charge of the whole fire agency right now is like, 3 lesbian chicks.
So the chief fire, chief of LA Fire Department,
the HBIC.
Yep.
The head bitch in charge
was pissed at the mayor for cutting it. She's on video now saying, without throwing a straight dagger at the mayor, she basically just shots across the bow. This was messed up. We can't handle this with XYZ. We needed that funding. Now,
good for her.
Now that's great.
Wasn't the mayor on vacation in Ghana?
Yeah, vacation or whatever. Who cares? Doesn't matter. She didn't know the fires were coming. Again, that's so much stuff that clouds people's judgment on what the issue is.
We're just openly talking about this. I just asked a question. I don't know. She was on vacation in Ghana, right?
Yeah. And
when it happened? Did she come back right away?
I don't know.
I don't know either.
Don't know. Don't know what she'd be able to do from back home while this is going on, other than.
Well, think about the business perspective you just made. If you were on vacation and your business was burning down, would you fucking come back right away?
Oh well, yeah, I would. Yeah.
Well,
that I guess to me right now, that's kind of not here nor there. I could care less whether she came back. It is what it is. Let's stick to the funding. The funding it's important, but
that's probably one of the. Okay, keep going.
But here's the other part the other side that people need to understand. Yep, they stripped the funding. Great. a lot of times that funding doesn't take place right away. Number one, that's budgeting.
Slow bureaucratic bullshit.
That's budgeting for next year.
Yeah, red tape.
So let's not act like that might have really done a difference. Now it could have.
No, that cutting of that funding that happened long before these. That had already happened.
So it was for this year.
That was something that they had already previously done. They had cut the budget massively. So this already took effect and was one of the reasons that there was not enough resources to try to fight this fire.
But I guess what I wanted to get to was the fact of the matter is the worst part about this fire was the winds.
Yeah, of course.
But they're way bigger than normal Santa Anas.
Yeah.
These weren't regular Santa Anas.
No, they were claiming 100-mile-an-hour gusts.
So these are on steroids. And the reason, from what I understand, the Santa Anas we get sort of late summer, sort of September, October, which is our usual fire season.
Yeah.
Those winds are, let's call it 40, 50 miles an hour, peak gusts and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. These that come in the winter are packed full of cold, dense air. Mm-hmm. And then as that air warms from the desert and comes in, it, I guess, expands and moves twice as fast.
Huh.
So the ones we get in the middle of winter, which usually we get this one beautiful week in January, always, right? You ever notice that?
Man,
it's always
San
like
Diego, you never know. It could be the dead winter and it could be beautiful like this, you know?
Well, yeah, but this is different than the Santa Anas. My point is this.
Yeah, it is.
The ones we get in the winter are way worse.
Yeah.
Way worse. So, again, I don't care if you had... If they added $100 million to this budget, they would not have been able to fight this fire. Doesn't matter how much money you had.
Yeah, I agree.
These winds are uncontrollable.
They would have been able to fight it, but they wouldn't have been able to control it because of the winds. And yeah, for anyone who doesn't know, like we have Santa Ana winds out here, which are typically strong, dry winds from the east that blow the opposite direction. Makes the surf really good. Also burns everything to shit. And then these were like abnormally strong. Not even Santa Ana, it's just like a fluke. So, all right, so let's get into the next one then, which, of course, you know where I'm going to go with this, which is, what's really going on? How'd the fire start? Why'd they start? And there's a really specific video that's out there that's like, it's pretty damning and it's pretty amazingly suspicious. It's ridiculously suspicious. And
the one dude that got caught with the torch.
No, it's an overhead view. I don't know if it's satellite or aerial, what type of aerial it is, but anyone knows when the winds are that strong in Southern California, you set any kind of small flame, small blaze in a area that's covered in brush and chaparral and low lying dry vegetation, you're gonna have a massive uncontrollable wildfire really fast. Mm-hmm. So you got to assume there's psychos out there who are gonna do this. But the strange part of the video is it shows out in a video. I believe it's out in the Palisades, in the middle of nowhere, and it's a view like this, and at the exact same time, like pinpoint,
all three fires.
All three fires in a strange triangle formation start at the exact same time. Not like a spark hit here.
I watched that video.
Yeah. So wait. Not like a spark hit here and then the fire took off. 3 locations, instant fire at each one at a pinpoint precise start time. What's the explanation there? And there's a million conspiracy theories, and there's DEWs, and there's Maui, and then there's this, right? And like the Maui thing, I mean, I guess we may as well get into that at some point. But like, how do you explain that? Like, what is that? You know what I mean? This is in the middle of nowhere. There's no one there. There's nothing there unless there's 3 people, who are paid to go out, sent out to start these. How does that happen?
It'd be a great time to see that video right now and post it live on the thing. So we
maybe
watch,
I'll see if we can do that.
Here's the first thing I think of is that, so I think I saw the video you're talking about. It's it's the satellite view.
Yep.
And you watch them. Yeah. If you really go look at those, when they started, the video, there's smoke already in the air, a ton. Those could have started within a few hours of each other.
No, they all literally start
same day.
The fact that you're able to see from the satellite view and that it's not zoomed out crazy far. So I want to know what you think about that, bro, because I think that's fucking too suspicious. And of course, you're not as conspiratorial as I am. So what you think they just happen to all start in 3 locations at the same time in a strange triangle pattern, or there's nothing weird about that?
Well, let me be the devil's advocate.
Yeah, that's what you're here for.
So let's say those are
do your job.
Let's say those fires. So I believe those were started by arsons, like just.
I can believe that.
Shitty old arsons. I believe they're started on the same day. I don't believe they were started
The exact same time.
simultaneously. No.
Yeah.
And I'm going to tell you right by a fast forwarded video, you're talking about like a 2-second part on a video being the matter of 6 hours on a they showed them the smoke was already in the air on those. So the fires had already been going. One was probably a little smaller, started in the bottom of a canyon. No one knew about it for a few hours. The other one was on the side of a freeway. Whatever they were,
No.
I don't think they were
This
within
was all in a
minutes.
remote area where there was nothing by it, no freeways, no nothing. This was out in the bush.
Okay, well,
all
again,
three of them.
Again, until I see a video that shows that clearly shows that.
Okay.
I don't believe that it was that. Now, do I think it was arson? Yeah, very well could have been. One of them could have been arson. One of them could have been an accident. One of them could have been, a lawnmower that hit a rock and sparked in and over. That's what.
There's no how, but the thing is like, yeah, I guess I really wish I could show you the video. There's nothing around. There's no houses. There's no freeways. This is out in probably government managed land. It's in the middle of fucking nowhere. There's nothing. And they all start at the exact same time. And there's nothing. There's all the stuff you're talking about. There's no freeways. Arsonists, three people being out there is the only explanation there could be.
Okay, way out in the middle of somewhere. If it's somewhere even remotely that someone might go camping, that could have been last night's campfire. And they had no idea that the next day the wind was going to pick up, and it took the campfire. We've left campfires before, and like...
No, we haven't. I don't know what you're talking about.
Back... Baja... You leave a campfire, you come out the next night, the next morning, it's still kind of moving a little bit. You're like, hell yeah, throw some wood on it. Let's warm up a little bit.
Yeah.
Let's be honest about it. We've done that down in Baja, and you warm back up the next morning. A lot of people do.
But that's usually on the beach.
I guess, again, we understand that. We're not going to leave a fire in the middle of a pine forest.
Yeah.
Right? But other people will. So one of those could have been just a fire that wasn't put out the night before, or put out to the extent... how many times have you put water on a fire and you're like, oh, that's done. I put up 2 gallons. We're done. You come back 20 minutes later, you're like, motherfucker's still lit.
Yeah, that one little coal.
Not one little coal. Those can be some big, logs that you tried to put out. So my point is just simply like, there's a lot of ways it can start. I'm not going to sit here and speculate the ways it started. To me, it doesn't matter. I mean, I'm looking more at the management of it and trying to stop this stuff.
It was the government fog.
Yeah, well, there you go. I mean, if it's the government, then it's...
The government fog was filled with flammable material, and then they used direct energy weapons to ignite the flammable material. They're turning the frogs gay. All right, let's go to the next one then. The fact that they weren't able to battle any of this, and our poor water management, and how literally the firefighters who were trying to fight the fires are like, we don't have water. How the fuck does a fire hydrant, the plumbing that goes to our fire hydrant system, there's no water left, and then reservoirs are empty, and then the way that California manages our water, and instead of allowing the water to be trapped in all the infrastructure that we've built, like the dams and reservoirs and basins to collect it in there so we can utilize it and not be in droughts and be able to fight fires, they're like, no, we have to save the shad fish. And it must flow to the ocean, otherwise, whatever fucking shit it is. And don't get me wrong, that's the one thing I really don't like about Bad Orange Man is, he's not environmental. I am big pro environment, not to the extent of, the PETA psychos and all the fucking jackasses who want to make everything incredibly difficult. But, a perfect example, when you and me, last time we went camping and we went to Kern, right? And I remember we stopped at the river and we're like, dear God, look at and this was peak fire season, wasn't it? Wasn't this in October?
Yeah, because they weren't allowing fires up in
and I remember
Kennedy.
watching the flow, the volume of water and thinking, it would be almost impossible to calculate how much water is flowing right now. And then they claim we're in a drought because they don't allow us to capture any of this water. So our bureaucratic, fucking stupid, idiotic politicians are not allowing us to use our natural resources that would help us with this and many other things. And instead, we're just letting it flow into the ocean. You know what I mean? That goes beyond mismanagement. It's just idiocy.
All right, you want to start back with the fire hydrants because that's an important
Yeah, go backwards, yeah.
So here's one thing that people don't probably know about. Okay, so you got the fire hydrants. There's a difference between the water that was supposed to be in the Palisades reservoir that was empty.
The one that we're doing maintenance on?
Yeah.
That makes sense.
We
I didn't know that,
understand.
and that makes total sense.
But here's what people aren't putting together. Here's two separate issues. Here's the issue with the fire hydrants not having enough pressure is the key component of that.
Okay.
Pressure is different than not having the water. So the different issue is the fact that they don't have the water pressure. And the reason why is because you have 30 fire hydrants
all running. Yeah.
all running
that makes sense.
on one line.
Yeah.
And they're not used to doing that. A
Yeah.
fire hydrant is only supposed to fight like a house fire,
Yeah.
maybe two. That's it.
It's simple.
When you open up 30
that many, yeah,
along a canyon,
well, the pressure's going to drop, and you're not going to have enough. Yeah,
and then none of them.
Okay, that makes total sense.
Yeah. So but that needs to be known.
See, that's good. I'm glad. See, that's why I like. That is one of the purposes of talking about this kind of stuff. I didn't fucking know that, and now that you explain it to me, that makes perfect sense. There's no grand conspiracy behind that. It's like for anyone who's ever done, irrigation. Here, you could give the ultimate example. You know what I mean? Each irrigation site on a drip emitter, you put too many, they won't operate because the pressure's not high enough.
Exactly.
Exactly what happened.
That's all.
Yeah.
That's all.
Yeah.
So it's very important that people know that, and it's sad because all of a sudden people are like, oh, water. It's like, whoa, let's separate it into the different water category problems.
Yeah.
One was a reservoir that was empty at the wrong time. Hey, shitty. Now,
yeah.
If you want to say, so I just read something the other day. I believe 10 years ago, they approved funding for more reservoirs in California to be built. Not one has been built.
Yeah. And even, okay, so look.
So
I don't want to get too off topic, and this is something I was looking into. Do you know what the majority of our infrastructure, bridges, roads, reservoirs in California, and I think over the entire United States, they have like essentially almost a failing score on what condition they're in, and we keep passing all these budgets to build this brand new shit, and the existing shit that we have is failing and breaking down and dangerously antiquated and not up to repair, but yet we're passing to build all this new stuff. Like how do the reservoirs we have, we're not even filling. They're not well maintained, but we're passing this money to build new ones, and then they don't get built either.
Wait, we're building a bullet train, but we're just going to let our citizens sit here and burn.
Yeah,
or we're building a bullet train, but yet we can't irrigate our massive amounts of farming and crops and all of that.
That has to do with the water stuff that has to do with the flow of water I was talking about.
Well, and so let's get to that flow of water.
But wait, let's finish with what you just said, though. So, you're talking about so we passed all this stuff to build new reservoirs. Nope. Where'd the money go then? Where'd that money go? Who got that money? Remember how we talked about last time? And we don't get to see anything. We should be like,
wait, we should do an audit. Oh wait, didn't they just do that?
Yeah,
didn't the Pentagon just do an audit?
Yeah, we're missing a couple $1 trillion. Where'd that money go?
Wait, did they pass this year's audit?
Oh no.
Did they pass last year?
Yeah. But don't.
Did they pass the year before that?
But don't let me catch you getting $600 on Venmo, motherfucker. Because IRS will be up your ass quicker.
I think I heard that the Pentagon hasn't passed an audit in like a decade.
They don't because they don't have to pass an audit because nobody's going to punish them. They are the ones who punish. I am the one who knocks. They're the ones who punish you, bro. They punish of course they're not going to pass. All that money's going to weird deep state black op fucking underground operations, and but we can't afford to put out fires. We can't afford to build new infrastructure. We can't afford to maintain or do anything in America, but we sure can send Ukraine a couple more $1 billion.
Here, you want me to?
No problem.
You want me to frustrate you even more?
No, damn it.
I'd be slightly okay.
God.
I'd be slightly okay knowing, okay, look, we know a lot of money goes into a lot of black ops and a lot of crazy shit.
Yeah.
And we're always building crazy shit in our military.
Yeah.
Badass. And SR-71 Blackbird was, before time, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
Motherfucker, if you're going to be doing this with all my money and you don't have a ballistic missile that Russia does and that China does, I'm pissed.
We have it. We have the ICBMs.
I'm pissed.
No, because the guy you follow, the habitual line crosser, he explained that, bro. We got all the good weapons.
We got all
the good weapons, dude.
But you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I do know what you're saying.
If we're not smashing people,
yeah,
like dominating,
yeah. We're getting off topic the way I always do, but yeah, all that money just disappears.
All right, so back to the reservoirs.
Where the fuck?
Back
So
to the flow of waters.
they did pass funding for new reservoirs.
Yeah, I just read it the other day.
And what happened?
10 years ago. We haven't built
10
one.
years ago.
Yeah.
So where the fuck is that
Here's what
money?
as you know, bureaucrats now have to survey land, make sure that the spotted owl
Yeah, I was
doesn't
just
have a
gonna say,
nest at
Do
the
the
bottom of the valley.
environmental impact report.
Do the yep. Then that gets fought in court.
Yeah.
So I'm going to be real about this. This
Yeah.
is exactly what happens.
Yeah.
Then that gets fought in court.
Yeah.
That gets held up for a few years.
Yeah.
Then all of a sudden, the impact study no longer is valid because it's over 4 years old. So they go back out, they do another impact study.
Yeah.
Right? They do this, they do that, they do whatever. Something else comes out, and then then there's another lawsuit.
Oh, we just found out that this is the home of the Sonoran spotted toad. We're gonna have to delay this another 17 years.
Or maybe your people had a grave site down there, and now all of a sudden we can't use that canyon because you threw all your.
You're goddamn right. I hope the poltergeist comes and kills you all, you bastards.
They'll be at the bottom of the water, so I'm not really worried about it.
Ghosts don't care about swimming, bro. All right, that's not how a poltergeist works. You don't know anything, bro. Skinwalkers, bro.
Point being is that I can understand that it takes a long time sometimes to build these reservoirs because of that impact theory, and then it gets challenged in court, and you do want to go through and finish all the right channels and do things right because there's things that can be, and then that leads to hopefully not getting unforeseen consequences you didn't know about.
Yeah.
Let's say you dam up a valley, right? Easiest thing to do to make a reservoir is to dam up one side of a big long valley filled with water. Well, if you don't do your surveys and you find out that there's some smaller crack down the middle of it, and all of a sudden that starts to grow over the years, and then that thing blows, and there's who knows what down the valley.
Yeah, it's all for nothing. You're fucked. Yeah.
So
you got it. You got to do your studies and make sure the geology's correct and you get all your engineering done. But I mean, come on, man, a decade. You know what I mean? This is a perfect example, like you were saying earlier, private industry versus bureaucracy. So here I'll give you a perfect example. Musk builds these rockets. It takes him less time to build a rocket that's ready to launch than it does for him to get the fucking paperwork done from the government. And that is not an exaggeration. He says it publicly, and it's real.
Yeah.
The amount of red tape and bullshit you have to go through is essentially, literally at this point, destroying shit. Because it takes so long to get done what you need to get done because our stupid bureaucrats just sit around and circle jerk each other off and take a cut here and take a bribe there and I need a permit here and you need that and scratch my back, and it's just fucking us all.
It's gotten too much.
Yeah.
There needs to be all of that stuff needs to be in place, no doubt. The reason most of it's all in place were for good reasons, and it started out with good intentions. It's gotten just too much. One, dog chasing its tail.
Yeah.
It's just not. Wait. Stop. Let's figure this out. What needs to be here? What doesn't? And I think actually tying that into, I think that's why, a lot of people get upset when they hear that Trump's going to, take away regulations. Understand that's a lot
please
of
do.
Well, and you can be sometimes upset by those. People get really upset. No, we need.
We have
those
way too much red tape. Well, we've been adding red tape through the years while not taking away any.
Correct. Yeah.
It's just more and more and more and more, and I'm talking asinine shit.
Yeah, there is no doubt. We need to go through, have a little powwow, and
all right. So was another one there?
No, I think it was just the water that is running down. I think the last part to this that pisses me off, and I don't know if it really has to do with the fires, but it is kind of the water and the farm and the water that goes to farmlands, and the fact that there's profit there. There's some really bad shit going on there because water should be able to be collected, held on your property, however you want to.
You can.
All that,
you can.
All that nonsense.
So that's something that's not true. That's something that's that's definitely like misinformation or conspiracy theory. You can capture and store rainwater in California. It is not illegal.
In California,
that is not true. In California,
they stopped it in Colorado.
You are allowed to harvest all the water you want.
Yeah.
That's not
as a farm.
As a farm.
Are you allowed to do it are you allowed to do it as a commercial farm?
Of course you are. But that would be you capturing rainwater.
Yeah.
You don't get to just tap freely into any, your wells are highly regulated, your water source is coming from but yeah, if you were trying to capture water just through ponds and, earthworks and things, yeah. But the problem is all that farmland's flat land. So it makes it much harder to create the type of earthworks and the type of sustainable stuff you need to capture that, like like the swale ditches and the bunds, and the best way to capture water is to have a slight grade and slow it down. You slow it down, slow it down over and over again, and then it refills in the aquifers. Also, all that arid land with no vegetation on it, no cover crops, the water doesn't sit. Water needs grass or vegetation to hit, stop, slow, sink in, get drank up by roots, and get deposited to replenish the aquifers. Instead, what we have is barren, dry land, and it hits and just goes away, runs straight down into all the gullies and hits the main creeks, streams, goes back to the ocean.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, no, that was.
So, but what you brought up something that I saw too. There's essentially one, I don't know if it's one guy or one couple or one family, and there's this billionaire family, and they own basically all the water in California. They own all the water rights. Yeah. And I looked that up, and I was like, there's no way this is true. Yeah. It's pretty much true. There's essentially one.
I wonder if he made a lot of his money from water. How much is he worth?
Motherfucker, a billionaire. He's a billionaire. Owns all that. Essentially owns, I guess. How would you even say that? Owns an entire natural resource through our state. That's like, oh, did you just breathe my air?
Did
you breathe my air?
Yeah.
$20. I saw you breathing my air. Well, I saw you breathing up all that air with your big Jew nose. Give me that money, motherfucker.
I was gonna say, I'm Jewish, bro. We own the air.
You evil bastards.
Why? What's the joke I love? Why do Jews have big noses?
Because the air is free, bro.
That's right.
That's right. Hey, remember that one time we were hanging out and you took a deep breath next to me and then I passed out? Oh, shit. So, yeah, but there's one dickhead who controls an entire supply of a natural resource.
Yeah,
that's ridiculous.
That needs to be investigated.
Yeah, we don't break up monopolies anymore, though. We have antitrust laws to break up shit, and Bill Gates is homies with the guys who would investigate him. Yeah. You know what I mean? And the guy who owns the water is probably homies with. It's all one big, like George Carlin said, it's all one big club, and you're not part of it. Yep. You know?
True. It's true. It's true. So that's a whole nother.
So I guess to wrap up, the government fog, and then they're attacking us with the direct energy weapons. The Maui wildfires were on purpose. They're burning down so they can rebuild it into 15-minute cities and steal all your land so they can control us.
And to finish this, the Palisades burned because they're going to put the Olympic Center there in 4 years when LA hosts the Olympics.
Oh my God, I hadn't even thought of that. Thank you. Yes, please.
You didn't know that one yet?
Please elaborate.
That's your newest one, bro.
Please elaborate.
Yeah, the same reason they burned Lahaina, because they're going to do a 15-minute city.
Which, that one's actually kind of true.
The Palisades are going to be the new site for the 2028 Olympics.
Do you know more about that? Can you actually talk on that?
Which one? The
Palisades and the new Olympics.
No,
Center.
I just saw that. No, I just saw
yeah.
Get me all excited. You're a fucking cock tease, bro.